What's up, you guys? All right, so I have the cards all laid out here because I started recording and then something happened. So rather than pull them again, I want to use the spread that I have. So I'm just going to start again because these cards feel so on point. All right, so I pulled some cards from the Divine Feminine Oracle from the Rider-Waite Tarot, and let's get into it. So underneath the deck, I'm getting the Nine of Cups. And this is a card all about your emotional fulfillment, like on your own personal fulfillment. Because the card after the Nine of Cups is the Ten of Cups, and that has to do with others, like the family or just a collective feeling of fulfillment versus your personal fulfillment. And so this is coming under the deck with Joan of Arc and Mary Magdalene in the reverse. Magdalene is coming in every reading, and I'm going to explain to you guys why. I'm actually running the Magdalene Mysteries Immersion. If I have enough women, I want 5 women. So if I can get 5 women, I'm going to do it this fall. So I'm going to make a separate video about that. But these cards, I mean, Mary Magdalene and the other card, we got Isis here, Goddess Isis, like this energy is coming through so strong. So I'm not surprised she's popping up in every single reading. But again, when I pull cards and I look underneath the deck, for me, these are kind of subconscious energies that are affecting the rest of the reading. These are things that you might not be seeing clearly, but that you want to know about so that you can shift them. So it's coming with Joan of Arc, and it says, the warrior of light. I cannot see, sorry. I have a steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. That's Joan of Arc. And then we're getting Mary Magdalene again. Again, I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. So with this coming with the Nine of Cups, this is just telling me that your fulfillment is absolutely possible for you. Not just that. We're getting the first and the last major arcana, the Fool and then the World, with a few other cards in between. So you are, if this is resonating for you, you're in the midst of a humongous cycle ending. And I would say that this is probably a long cycle, like something that's been going on for you for many years, if not like 10 or more. Like I'm feeling maybe 7 to 10 years for a lot of people. It's a long lesson. It's a big life lesson that's encompassing a lot. So to complete this lesson, it's like you're gonna need to be you're gonna need steel-like conviction. So much faith in yourself. And you know, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be able to deliver these messages. I wouldn't still have this business. I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't had a spiritual practice, because it was the only thing, it was like my anchor in all the years that I was struggling on every level. Struggling emotionally, struggling financially, struggling mentally, just everything. I was like seriously an alchemical process, and it was really painful. And there were parts where I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And it was my practice that kept me going. And I'm not just saying that or being dramatic to be dramatic. Like, it was really hard sometimes. And so, but that's how it goes. Because the spiritual path is not just to have fun. Like, it's fun, and there's beautiful parts of it. And then there are parts that are hard. And then we have to be able to do both, you know? And so that's the underlying energy. It's like you're going to need conviction that you've never had before. You're going to need faith that you've never had to implement before. That's what it's going to feel like. Scary. But what's waiting for you on the other side isn't just emotional fulfillment. It's like spiritual blessings. Because the thing about these cycles, when you're ending a really big, challenging cycle like this, because you're going to be breaking serious patterns here. I'm talking like let's say you were codependent. And there's a lot to that. But let's just say, because that was a lot of my clients. Like when I started out years back in like 2016-ish, around then, 2017, a lot of people were struggling with that pattern in some form. Maybe not the classic like addict and caretaker, but like there was just a lot of complicated stuff going on emotionally, attachment issues and things like that. And so people were kind of grasping for a relationship, but not for the right reasons. They were trying to fill a void. And I find that people that find this path, like union, sacred union, or conscious relationship, or they really resonate with the energy of Mary Magdalene or the priestess archetype, or again, this book, the Magdalene Manuscript, for me is like it's like a lighthouse. Like when I wave that book and I'm like, does this resonate? Like that's how I find my people too. So like the people I'm meant to serve. It is a very like specific niche, but I mean, if you're watching these videos, I'm sure that it's for you too, right? Or you wouldn't resonate. And so we're getting Isis along with Mary Magdalene. Like that book, the Magdalene manuscript, the second line of it is the alchemies of Horus, which are the 5 tantric meditations inside. And by tantric meditation, I mean meditations that are utilizing your sexual energy, which they see as in tantric religions or practices see all energy as divine, including your sexual energy. And so it's using your sexual energy to raise your consciousness. And so there's 5 specific practices inside called the alchemies of Horus and the sex magic of Isis. And this is all very kind of specific mystery school teachings. And it was said that Mary Magdalene was actually an initiate in the mystery school of Isis. And so I'm not really surprised that this is coming up. Again, I'm hosting this immersion. I'm going to do another video about it, but that's because I'm feeling so called lately, because I call Mary Magdalene into my meditations every day. She's on my altar. And over the last couple of months, I've been getting really specific messages about like how to serve people. Because when you think about it, union is the opposite of separation consciousness. And where are we at, like historically right now? We're at a period of time where people are really divided for so many reasons. And so that's why union isn't just romantic. Like that is a really important part of the path that I'm helping people with, because it is so nuanced and layered, and it takes a lot of growing, and it takes a lot of effort. You know what I mean? This isn't just going to fall in your lap and work out. You're going to have to put in effort every day. It takes work. It's so worth it. Like I can't even think about going backwards or not having what it is that I actually desire. At the same time, you have to create it, right? So we're getting Isis with the Fool and then upright, and then the Empress reversed. So there is a bit of an imbalance with the feminine energy here. This could be a lot of things. This could be a mother wound. This could be, I mean, most of our kind of distorted feminine energy, whether we're a man or a woman, comes from a mother wound or like a feminine wound in our family. It could just be a mother who had a lot of issues, you know what I mean? It could have been emotional issues. It could have also been covert. Like the issues might not have been super obvious, because I think a lot of people, like when they hear the word trauma or something like that, they think, and I'm not a trauma expert, but I've worked with hundreds of people around relationship. And what I can say is that a lot of people think that like trauma looks really overt, like, oh, it was physical, or, you know, that it has to be super obvious and dramatic. And a lot of times the traumatic events are more subtle. They're emotional events, like feeling ignored, feeling kind of neglected. And again, it doesn't have to be like, oh, your parents didn't feed you, they left you on the side of the road. It's like, it could have just been like you didn't feel like your parent was available, or somebody left the family, there was a divorce, there was like an abandonment wound in addition. Or like I said, there was just a really distorted feminine energy, and this could look like a lot of anger issues, a lot of instability emotionally, ups and downs, very like roller coastery, or like you're in a house and people are angry or feeling things, but they're not talking about it, and then they're telling you that everything's fine. So you grow up with this like underlying cognitive dissonance that never goes away. That is very confusing. So this could be so many things, but ultimately it's like a wounding around the feminine energy that needs some adjusting. Like it needs some balancing. And part of how you can balance this is, I mean, it's saying sexual energy is sacred. So I'm feeling like this is also a more specific message around intimacy and also your life force energy, because sexual energy isn't just for sex. It's for creativity. It's for your own magnetism, your own inner radiance. Like I practiced these practices for so many years by myself. You know, you don't have to be in a relationship to do these practices. In fact, in Taoism, which is from China, they have a whole like sector of practices called solo cultivation, where you do sacred sexuality practices by yourself. And then of course there's practices that you do with a partner. But I feel like this is an imbalance maybe with your sexual energy or with your feminine energy. It could be like an overdoing, overgiving, overextending yourself, feeling burned out, feeling like you have a lot of trouble receiving. But there's like this new beginning that wants to happen. So to clarify that, to be like, how can you shift this? We're getting death in reverse. So you need to let a transformation happen fully. This transformation is already happening. You're so close. The Fool is upright. That means that it's right around, it's close. But there is something changing. Remember, we're coming into, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're coming into autumn, my favorite season. And this is when things die. And like in life, things need to die to come back again. They need to die to be reborn. But we are like death phobic and phobic of endings in general. A lot of people struggle with endings. But the only way in this reading, in this energetic that I'm feeling, that you're going to get what you actually deserve and desire and want, is to move through this full transformation process. So let's keep going, because I want to talk about these ones, and this will help explain this first set. On this side, we're getting Saraswati, which is the goddess of creativity. And it says, and the goddess on this card, it says of self-knowledge. And it says, the essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create. And it's coming with judgment and the world upright. I mean, judgment first and foremost is like a spiritual awakening. It's also, to me, like a spiritual alignment period where you're getting tested. And it's like, are you going to do it differently this time? Because that's what's going to end the cycle. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Keep banging your head against the wall. You're going to keep getting a headache. So be really aware of where you're not in your power, like where you're giving your power away. And the number one place where people give their power away is by blaming other people. I just did a whole, I was lit on Threads today. If you guys are on Instagram and you like that Twitter style quick thoughts, I'm on Threads because I really like it. I can just post a thought whenever. And I was on a roll today. Because the biggest way we give away our power, especially in relationship, is by blaming other people for how we feel. It doesn't work like that. People do what people are going to do, and then you have your full power to respond in whatever way. So their behavior is their responsibility. Your response is your responsibility. To get a new result here, you're going to need to respond in a new way. You're going to need to do it differently. And that can feel really exposing. On the Judgment card, all these people are naked. They're all naked, and there's an angel blowing that horn. It's like, are you listening? You know? I don't feel that this is something new. Like I said in the beginning, this feels like a very long cycle that's closing out. And so intuitively, you know, this is in the upright. It's like you're very aware. And the cycle wants to end. Your blessings are on the other side of this challenge. And there's a bit of it that's unknown, I feel. Like you don't know exactly how things are going to work out, but you're not supposed to know exactly how it's supposed to work out. What you're supposed to do is, according to what I'm feeling intuitively here, for those that it resonates for, what I feel you need to learn is the faith. It's this, I'm armored with steel-like faith in myself, with a conviction like steel. I'm willing to take a risk, because I know, because I've been sitting with this lesson for so long, that intuitively I already know what I need to do. But mentally I've been avoiding it, I've been resisting it. That's what I feel. And that's why Mary's coming kind of in the reverse, saying, remember, you're the bridge between the spiritual lesson and what's happening in your life. And if you want your life to change, for those of you on this path, you have to learn spiritual lessons, right? We all do. And a lot of spiritual lessons require faith. That's why you need a spiritual practice. That's why you need devotion. That's why things don't just come out of the sky. Sometimes we need to really cultivate the energy to receive them so that it comes in the right form, you know, so that we can actually be open to it. So to clarify this Judgment card and the world, like the cycle wants to end, but you know what you got to do for it to end is to stop lying. To yourself, to other people, any of this, and also stop overly strategizing. Like a lot of, really, truly, this lesson to me doesn't feel so logical. It just really ties into my last reading about making a heart over head decision. But any deceitful energy, any energy that's out of integrity is what needs to fucking go. It's got to go. It's what keeps you in. It's been repeating the cycle over and over because there's this needs to go. I don't know what else to say. But because all these other cards, for the most part, are upright, I just get the feeling you already know what you need to do, but now you need to actually pull the trigger. You need to do it. You need to take that first step. I have a tattoo on my arm that says 1 day at a time, because I needed to physically imprint that mantra on my body, because when I tell you guys that this shit has been very challenging, to believe in what you can't see yet, to jump off the cliff when you don't know if there's a net, and you're like, I believe I'm powerful. I believe that the universe supports me when I make decisions that are in integrity, but I have no fucking clue how this is going to work out. That is not easy, right? So we have to develop the belief that we can do it, and that the universe has our back when we're acting in integrity. You're never going to lose, quote unquote, when you're in integrity. You might experience loss, but you will only be losing, quote unquote, the things that are not in your highest good, the things that are not really meant for you, that are going to be leading you to your biggest blessings. You never lose by telling the truth. You will experience some things dissolving, some things will fall away. But spiritually, you win when you tell the truth. You do. It doesn't always look like that, and you've got to be able to check your own ego and be like, where am I resisting change? Because I want to be right. Because the second way that people give away their power beyond blaming someone else is the need to be right. Self-righteousness. It's a killer, you guys. So that's what I'm feeling here. You have to be brutally honest with yourself, and then you got to be radically honest with people in your life. And that, I think, is also terrifying to a lot of people, because at first you might get punished when you have boundaries with people, when you act differently, when you don't participate in the drama or in the game or if you're not complicit anymore. Like if you're playing tug of war and you have a rope and someone else has a rope and you keep pulling it back and forth, like I said, the definition of insanity is expecting a different result. But if you drop the rope and you stop playing the game, the dynamic will shift very quickly. But some people are going to be really pissed off because when they're benefiting from you not having boundaries, not being honest, not being clear, not telling the truth, not doing what you need to do for yourself, your needs matter. It doesn't matter what you've done. You have to be able to forgive yourself. Watch the last reading where at the end it was saying, give yourself or someone else mercy. Give yourself grace. We all are human. We mess up. We do things that are shitty and mean sometimes, or dishonest, because we have to learn. Like, you don't learn by being perfect. You learn by stumbling. You learn by falling down. Sometimes you have to fall flat on your face on the pavement, but then you learn, hopefully, and you stop repeating that pain, right? So that's what I'm getting here. Very straightforward today. I'm gonna pull one more from this deck. I'll pull out the Joan of Arc. It's getting dark, that's why I don't have my light on. Let me just check the time. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna pull one more and we'll wrap this up. Trust me, good things are coming beyond this. Like, this feels as it might be difficult right now, a little bit confusing, but it's like actually you already know. It's actually just taking that final step, whatever that step is. And remember, then you take another step and another step. If you get easily overwhelmed, if you have a lot of anxiety, then you need to learn how to take small steps. Those small steps build your strength and courage so that when it's time to take the gigantic step, you'll have more faith in yourself. All right, one more message, Spirit, just to wrap this up. We're getting, oh, I love that this card came through, Parvati, the goddess of devotion. I am a love that doesn't leave. When I commit to love, my soul evolves. I've been talking about this a lot. Like I said in my last reading, I eliminated my short-term mentorship containers because I really feel that this is like the only people that I can really serve at this point as a mentor, because I've been doing this for over a decade, are people who are willing to commit long-term to the deeper practices. Like, none of this is, and there are other people out there that can serve you in the short term, but where I get the most energy, but also where I know we have to go together if you want to be experiencing your true blessings on a path of sacred union, it takes time and patience and and devotion. And this is she was a partner of Shiva, right? I'm almost positive. And so that's like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but it's said that like her, and I might be getting this a little bit wrong, but it's like said that her devotion was like a mountain, like it doesn't move. And when you're being tested like this, to devote yourself to love, a love that doesn't leave. Most people don't get that because they're like, as soon as it gets hard or I feel challenged or like insecure, well, I want to leave because I deserve better than this. And you do deserve good things, beautiful things. But also, to cultivate that type of love, you need to stick it out sometimes when it's challenging. And you need to not stick it out for the drama, to devote yourself to love, because love is going to be the thing that leads you, not your logic and your ego. Love. That's why I've been asking Mary Magdalene to come through me and just use me as a vessel and lead me. But then I have to listen. So when I get directed over and over and over again to come back to certain themes, that's why I'm doing the Magdalene immersion. It's like I was going to do other stuff, but then I started getting DMs, messages from people asking about the book out of left field, asking me about the meditations. It's like, and then the lady, get this, that I hooked her up at the hotel, the luxury hotel I worked at in New York in like 2010 or 11. She recognized my name on Threads. She messaged me, just DM me. She's like, this is so random, but I wanted to figure out where I know you from because I recognize your name. Long story short, we end up in the DMs chatting. I had hooked her up for her wedding back at the hotel I worked at a million years ago, way before my spiritual awakening, before I started my business. And guess what? After like 15 minutes talking, we ended up talking about twin flames. You guys, you cannot make this shit up. There's no accidents. Like, she's super spiritual too, but like, she literally just DM'd me out of the blue, and I've been like seen this woman before I even had an awakening. So to devote yourself to love is going to mean you're going to have to go through many moments when it's going to feel way easier to not choose love. But like I said before, you never lose when you choose love. You'll experience loss. That's the things that aren't ultimately going to serve you. But you're never going to quote unquote lose. And so you're going to need this type of devotion, the kind that wouldn't move in a hurricane. It's a mountain. It's unmovable. It's unshakable. It's unwavering is the word that I'm hearing. And because I'm living this experience, and lots of things that I haven't shared publicly, but like there's a lot of things that have gone on behind the scenes and personally, and I'm telling you right now, this is necessary. And it is not easy sometimes, you guys. It's not. If this were easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would have this type of connection. Everybody would do this work, but it's not for everybody. It's not everyone's journey, but if it resonates, it's yours, right? So you're going to need to develop really this unwavering devotion. It's not going to happen overnight, but like I said, I feel this specific message is for people who have been at this a while, and you have like one more step to take on your journey to take you into your next chapter of your life where, then there'll be other things to learn and other steps to take. But it's like you're walking over the final piece of the threshold, and I can see it. It's like a little bit of a bridge, but those like scary kind of wooden bridges that are like in the Far East, and you see them and you're like, oh hell no, I'm not getting on that bridge, like I'll die. Like I feel like you have to kind of traverse one of those bridges. It's not super long, but it's a little wobbly, it's uncertain, it's uncomfortable, but it's like your final rite of passage is what I'm hearing. Something really beautiful is waiting on the other side of this. Trust and believe. So I love you guys. If you want a one-to-one, an intuitive reading, I offer 90-minute readings. The link for that is below. And if you're intrigued, I'm going to do a separate video about it, but if you're intrigued about the Magdalene immersion, I've also got the link for that below because I'm accepting applications now, and I'm only going to open up the applications for about 2.5 weeks because I want to run this at the end of October so that we're done before the holiday rush and stuff. So check that out if you're interested, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love ya.